And I think anti-feminism gets really prejudged. Like as soon as people hear anti-feminism, they assume like you're a bigot, like you hate, I don't know, like you're just really bad, I've had people call me Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, like they call you lots of things just because you say you're an anti-feminist, and it's like, yeah, yeah, it would be nice if people would just listen to what you're saying. But of course, in that sense, they would say I'm provoking them by saying I'm an anti-feminist. But yeah, no, actually, I am an anti-feminist, and no, I'm not a Nazi. Like,
No, I know what you mean, and you get ostracized from the female community so much being an anti-feminist as well, I think.
Yeah, and then they always assume that it's all about men. That's also a very annoying thing about anti-feminism, because it just becomes like it's all about men, it's all about you just sticking up for men. And it's like, I know that men are a big part of anti-feminism because feminism has been so bad to men. What they did to men was like horrible. So it's like they backstab men, and so I get it that men are a huge part of anti-feminism, but at the same time, women are also a part of anti-feminism, and what they've done to women is also bad, in my opinion. I feel like they have ignored a huge portion of women completely, and just said that they are women, they are speaking for women, they are the woman's opinion, and we as women feel like we were oppressed and we need to go to work and smash those ceilings. And it's like, there are many, many women who don't want that, who never wanted that, who that doesn't even look remotely appealing to, who, like, we exist. We don't want that. We never wanted that. We don't want you. Don't smash the ceiling for us. Just leave it.
Like, we're quite happy with it. We don't need it done.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Nah.
So yeah, it's like, so I feel like what they've done to women is also terrible. And just in general, the way in which they have approached history and present in terms of the way in which feminism was carried about, I feel like it was terrible, because I really do believe that we can and could get rights, and all of the rights that we need, and could have gotten and would have gotten all of the rights without lying about men, calling them oppressors, this type of societal manipulation, and trying to smash culture to pieces. Okay? We had a culture, and it wasn't perfect, and it needed to change, and it would have changed. With time and technology, it would have changed. And there was no reason to demonize it, say that it is evil, say that it was misogynist, say that it is anti-woman, and create stories about men being in control of the culture because they hate women, and society hating women and thing. And there was no reason to do all of this. And, even if like a small subset of society did this, fine, but society should at least say no to those people and make it clear that that's insanity. It's not normal. It's not what happened. And we should not be teaching children and teaching in schools that the history of Western civilization or whatever is built on misogyny, and that all of the culture was just evil to women, and it all needs to be smashed and teared down because it hated people. Okay, the culture wasn't perfect. I understand that, but it wasn't perfect to almost everyone. Every single group suffered under the cultural norms of the past because the culture had certain real physical constraints that have more to do with nature, biology, and actual stuff than anything else. So as those things changed, the culture would have changed, and did change. And that is something that would have happened anyway. We don't need to, we didn't need to tear
it's all right though. Because in like 50 years' time, kids are going to be getting taught about toxic misandry instead of toxic masculinity. So I think it'll swing in roundabouts eventually, because I think it has to come a time where society's like, dude, okay, these people are borderline cult-like now. Like, we got to do something about this.
I agree.
But the fact it even has to get to that,
it should have been viewed as a cult from day one. And instead, people took these people seriously. We have it in universities. They're talking about this as if it's something normal, and it's like, no, I'm sorry. Anything that tells us that we live in a world that is only privileging men over women and this and that and stuff. And it's like, no, women lacked rights. I agree. Okay, women lacked rights and stuff, as you said. But these things were the fault of nature, not of men. There were physical constraints on women that prevented them from going out into the world and being a part of the economic world. These physical things like breastfeeding, like taking care of children, this has something to do with nature.
Like what we were actually built to do.
Yeah, this has something to do with biology. It has nothing to do with hatred. Like, it has zero to do with hatred. Nobody hated women. We had physical constraints, and those constraints made it such that we couldn't do what men could do. So instead, men did those things. Okay, men did it. And to turn around and now say, looking back in the rearview mirror, that men doing those things is oppression, that men doing those things is misogyny, that men doing those things was because they hated us. It is the worst form of backstabbing that I can imagine, right? And it is so inconsiderate to normal women.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm so lucky. I've got an amazing partner. And I couldn't imagine not having a partner that wanted to look after me.
Mm-hmm.
There's this huge thing where you don't need a man to look after you. Dude, I love my man looking after me.
I agree.
Don't speak for me, please.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm sick and he's looking after me. It's fucking great.
All of the things that they complain about. They complain about, chivalry. They used to complain about chivalry in the past.
But now there's no good men.
Oh, a man opening the door for you. Oh, he's opening the door because you're weak. What nonsense! Like, what nonsense? He's opening the door to be kind. Like, every single thing.
Polite.
Exactly. Everything.
Like we would open a door for an elderly person.
Everything that they complain about is misinterpreted. It's like feminism should be called women who misinterpret the world. It's just that.
No,
like, they're just women who misinterpret the world. They misinterpreted opening doors as...
And then act like a victim.
Yeah, as men thinking we are weak. Men go out in the world and say to them, smile, smile, you look beautiful, smile. Catcalling, okay, fine. You look beautiful, I like you, smile. They think that the men are trying to possess them and exert ownership. It's like, what the hell? You have misinterpreted everything.
My boyfriend doesn't like when I go out in like a top that barely covers my tits and a skirt that barely covers my ass.
He's controlling.
What a horrible human. He's protecting your image, bro. Chill out.
He cares about you. They constantly misinterpret every single thing that men do and just associate the worst possible intent that nobody would even think of as the intention. And
it's like this whole man versus bear thing.
Yeah. It
has... Talk about fucking rage bait.
Yeah.
Honestly. That was insanity. And did you read any of the comments for that?
Oh gosh. It had nothing to do with sexual assault, but it was almost as if they were saying man versus rapist. I just don't...
What?
Yeah, like, where did...
Well, no, it was more rapist versus bear. There was no question.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
that man would hurt you.
Yeah, there was no man in that. It was like, would you rather be in the forest with a rapist or a bear? That was the question, it seemed. And, typical for feminists, right? They just mix up rapist and man interchangeably.
But then, like, I did see a comment from someone, and it was this American guy, and man, did he have a good spin on it. He's like, look, if we put black in front of the man, if we put Asian in front of the man,
right, totally racist.
Even just a race instead of a gender,
would be totally racist. There would
be complete and utter outrage,
of course,
worldwide.
Of course, would you rather be in the forest with a black man or a bear? A bear, a bear, a bear.
Imagine that.
A bear. Why? Because black men suck. Black men have raped me. Sorry, but
you get what I mean. Yeah. Like. That whole thing, when I read that, I was like, that just throws their whole argument out the window. Because it's inherently just sexist and fucking awful. And then everyone's trying to say, when you say, I'd pick the man, oh, well, you're supporting abuse.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, no, I just think that a man's going to be more helpful than a bear.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, the likelihood is that a man will help you to escape the forest or whatever. That was the point. A human would be more beneficial than a bear. But yeah, but if you think about it like that, like in terms of the sexual assault thing, then it changes the question. But of course, with feminists being feminists, that's the first thing they think about,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you had to sum up your views on feminism in total, what would you like the world to know about your views on feminism?
Honestly, just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Please just stop, because it's not necessary anymore. We've got everything we need. How about, like, once in the human existence, we try to just be happy with what's actually there?
Mm-hmm.
Because the more they try and tear it down, the more pushback we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's half the issue is, the more one side argues this way, the more that side pushes that way.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is then you end up polarizing entire genders over something so trivial as looking after kids or going to work.
Right. I agree.
So yeah, I think maybe just think twice and think about how many men you've met in your life, how many of them have actually had bad intentions, and you might find that most men are actually decent people.
Yeah.